I shot the 8 times. Everybody moved.
A merchant guarding his property. You got anybody out there or just a
This is
shot?
Rick Romero out here. All of the merchants here are not going to wait for the National Guard or police or anybody else. You talked about guerrilla warfare, and it's right here, right on the premises here. Just about every one of the individuals in this.
Radio Korea quickly became dubbed Koreatown's makeshift command center, warning listeners of the whereabouts of incoming looters, and offered itself as a 911 system, allowing shop owners to call out for help over the air. After the realization sank in, there would be no response from police, fire, or EMS, already stretched too thin, responding to thousands of ongoing emergencies.
아니스 옷가게라고 있습니까? 아니스 옷가게 거기는 남자 옷이에요. 남자 옷가게. 네, 거기 탔어요? 네, 거기가 지금 불타고 있어요.
We need National Guard in here.
We have no police support whatsoever. People are driving by shooting at us, and we have to do something about it.
A local resident by the name of Ina Cho and president of the Korean Veterans Association in 1992 was listening to the broadcast and decided to call in a little broadcast of his own, requesting all Korean Marine Corps veterans to respond to the area. Soon after, a group of around 15 Korean Marine Corps veterans arrived, equipped with rifles, and rendezvoused with Cho. The men responded to a large electronics warehouse, Kim's TV, where Radio Korea was broadcasting that a mob of looters were attempting to break in. The warehouse had an iron door, which the mob was beating and ramming with a truck. When the mob finally took down the door, Cho attempted to stop the looters who were sprinting inside when two vehicles with a combined occupation of 10 people got out of their cars and opened fire on Cho, hitting him one time. Richard Kim, whose parents owned the electronics store, armed himself with a semi-automatic rifle. As the warehouse was under fire, his mother suffered a gunshot wound while trying to shield his father. And as more Koreans became injured, more and more Koreans took up arms, taking positions on rooftops for maximum tactical advantage. Not only did they have the high ground and could see everything from the roof, but parapets made for the perfect cover from incoming fire. And these firefights were televised.
More familiar with weaponry than I am. He says it looks to be a 9mm Uzi.
Where Korean shopkeepers could be seen armed with M1 carbines, Ruger Mini 14s, pump-action shotguns, handguns, and Daewoo K1A1s. Like, look at this dude's loadout. He's got a red polo t-shirt and a Daewoo K1A1. I mean, come on. One of the most iconic photographs of roof Koreans happened at a small grocery store called California Market. The owner fortified his store with 20 well-armed employees and volunteers, all of whom were wearing white headbands. They were often shooting blanks or discharging warning shots into the air, which is dumb. You gotta wonder where those went, you know? But their methods worked, as looters scattered, fleeing the area as quickly as they could. On May 3rd, after 4 days of exchanging gunfire with armed looters, the rooftop Koreans successfully forced every single wave of remaining mobs out of Koreatown, saving countless lives and livelihoods in which the Korean American identity was born. And on that same day, over 1,100 Marines and 6,500 National Guard troops patrolled the streets of Los Angeles, putting an end to the chaos. If it wasn't for a few brave men who stood up against their opposers, Koreatown would have been unsalvageable. The nearly week-long rioting killed more than 60 people, injuring more than unsalvageable. The brave men who stood up against their opposers, Koreatown would have been unsalvageable. The nearly week-long rioting killed more than 60 people, injuring more than 2,300, and caused approximately $1 billion in damage, half of which was sustained by Korean-owned businesses. Korean Americans have come to refer to the 1992 uprising as Saigu, which translates to April 29th, a day Koreans will never forget.
429.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video,
429. It's a moment of profound sadness and loss of feeling so targeted and so abandoned. Minorities attacking each other because of economic poverty. These poor black people and poor white people attacking Koreans because the country that they live in hasn't taken care of them. Obviously, I sympathize with people who are fucking being attacked by people and their stores are getting looted, but why is that happening? Probably because we aren't taking care of people very well. It would be nice if the police did their job and the Koreans wouldn't have had to defend themselves. But you know, this is a jungle. This is like a fucking no holds barred, just free for all here. So, um, if that's the case, then it's badass to take up arms and fight people off. But that's not a very sustainable solution. You can't just expect people to do that all the time. Um, Ideally, you'd have police forces that actually do their job instead of just sitting in Beverly Hills, where no one was looting anything just to keep the rich white people safe, and that the police would actually be there to help protect people and keep people safe and keep the community intact. But that's not what the job of police are. And when there's a moment of crisis, you see what their instincts are. They're like, well, who really gives a shit? The poor people are attacking each other. We don't really care about poor people. Their job is to um, preserve the status quo and the wealth distribution as it currently exists through physical force. So if poor people are really attacking each other, they don't care. Um, this is what you'd rather have us against each other. Sounds low. Rooftop Koreans. You and Tony are the voices of stopping Asian hate. Haha. Yeah, this is a fun little thing that we're doing right now. It's a little broadcast. Um, we could play something crazy. Um, let's just look at news. What is the news today, YouTube? Trump got raided, which is fun. Let's just look at B-roll footage on mute of Trump getting raided. Luckily, my internet is really slow. But yeah, obviously some people who are really political are really into talking about this like it's a big deal. I don't think it's really that big a deal. I mean, we all know who Trump purports to be and who he acts, who he tries to portray himself as. Is it really surprising that he broke the law and that the police the police are investigating him? Like he was just doing whatever the fuck he wanted. Why wouldn't he get investigated? Um, I think it makes sense that he probably fucked something up. He probably did something wrong. Of all the presidents to get raided, it makes sense that it would be him. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't really feel bad for him. He did so much damage to the country and he botched the coronavirus response, which killed uh more people than it should have. Yeah, fuck him. He's a politician. Um, yeah, I don't understand anyone who's like, oh, poor Trump, we gotta protect him. Fuck him. He put himself out there. He's going for gold. You risk it all. This is the game he decided to play. Heard you have a good joke about women's sports. Let's hear it. I can't wait to see you in Irvine. I'm going to California soon. The tour dates are on my details and my about section on the video. It links to my link tree. And the link tree is a link of all the places that I'm going to be in California. I'm going to go to Oxnard, Irvine, San Jose, other places. What was up with the headbands? It's just like the headbands in the Roof Korean video was a way to distinguish that they were doing something. They're like, we're doing something now. We're all here doing this thing. So it was just a way to like tell people that they're doing something or to concentrate and to displays through fashion what that they're up to something, like, oh, they're wearing a uniform, and it's like a physical reminder that they're there for a purpose. In Korea, in a lot of protests, people wear headbands that say stuff on it. um it's like a way to display things and write words on it and communicate. There's a large protest culture in Korea because the US installed a puppet dictator, a military dictatorship oh look, Chinese people doing it, in Korea, in South Korea, that was murdering students and killing people that they suspected was Chinese, and basically just kept the government that was in place for the Japanese occupation intact. So it's like they were evil people, the worst Koreans, like the Uncle Tom of Koreans who sold Koreans out to Japanese people, just were the head of the government in South Korea. And uh, and then we found a new daddy, America, and then a lot of those people stayed and were going around killing their enemies slash communists. Um, Look, and even in America, they got little words on their little headband. So there was a lot of protests. A lot of people wanted democracy, and they finally achieved it in the 80s or 90s or something. But yeah, Korea was doing worse than North Korea, where they had like a lot of massacres, where they would massacre a lot of Korean people that were suspected of being communist. And they had a very right-wing government that was crushing the left wing and the unions and the people that are fighting for workers' rights. So there were a lot of protests. There were a lot of students getting killed, a lot of police, uh, horrible acts by the police in South Korea. So they have a lot of protest, a lot of protests in Korea. Kill Jap. Oh no. South Korean protests against Japan over islets. That's the thing. They have these islands called Tokto Island. That that's just how Koreans communicate is with headbands. But yeah, they're fighting against the Japanese. There's like some islands that no one really cares about that don't really do anything that they're like fighting for no reason. And it's just like a fucking ego battle. It's like, this is my island. I will get this island. And it's just like becomes a whole thing. It's just like turf wars. Uh, should we do headband protests also? I mean, it'd be nice. It's just like a way, because people are always looking at your face anyways. You might as well write something on there that displays what you're feeling if you're at a protest, so that people can just look at your face and see what's going on ideologically in your head. But yeah. Should we buy Pokemon to help the cause? Sure. Should we do a headband protest? Um, you and Tony and Young, what was up with the headbands? Can't wait to see an Irvine. Did you have a good show? Already read all these. Oxnard, are you serious? I'll come see you. Yeah, check out the descriptions in the YouTube video. I'm going to California, the most populous state in the Union. A big old state full of people, which is great because I do stand-up comedy for people. And California has a lot of people, so it works out. Japanese people scare this guy. Japanese people are, they were pretty horrible during World War II. I think their culture, they come from the islands of Japan. This lady is like all over the news. The islands of Japan were very warring. They had a lot of wars. They had so many factions and shogunates. They were always fighting. They got good at fighting. They're on a small island. They can't escape each other. They have to fight it out. And they got good at fighting and they're like, well, we're good at this. Let's fucking use this. Um, but yeah, I think it's just how they're kind of competitive and it can be good, it can be bad. But yeah, they really did a good job at some things in World War II and a lot of bad things as well. And they kind of are kind of trying to sweep it under the rug for the most part, in terms of their education and stuff. But I feel like Japanese people are, in general, are Asian and nice. They're too Asian to be mean. They're too respectful of individuals Just if you get them in a group and point them at a minority, then it's not good, like Filipinos. Yes, there's a lot going on
Get that movement
in the
down
world.
with the blink stock.
So what do you guys think about the whole crisis of Trump getting arrested and raided? Is that a big deal or is it not? Let's hear from the listeners. I think that Trump getting raided is not a big deal. I think that he deserves it. He definitely did something wrong. Let's see. You guys want to call in? My favorite Asians, Koreans, but I'm biased. If I wasn't Korean, I would say the best Asians are probably Chinese, definitely, then Japanese and Korean. Because China is just such a fucking force of nature. They just get their shit together and they dominate, they dictate culture, the language, the architecture. It's all Chinese. I don't know how they did it, but they did it, so you gotta respect that. And Japanese people are good at making Sonys and Nintendos and stuff. So, um, let me know if you want to call in. Call into my Instagram. My favorite. Vietnamese people are great. I feel like Southern Asian people are more closely linked to African Americans, and Upper Northern Asian people are more culturally similar to whites. Vietnamese people are very, into feeling good and having a good time, and then Northern Asians are into discipline and boredom and uh, studying and just being white, having a stick up your ass and not enjoying anything. Um, yeah, so Trump got raided, and then he had to put in a thing at the whatever at the New York deposition. He pleaded the fifth. There is some guy that's going around killing Muslims, and he looks Mexican. Is there a Mexican killing Muslims? Why would that be? Mohammed Syed. Wait, so he's a Muslim guy killing other Muslims? Why would a Muslim kill other Muslims? That's scary when someone's just like got a mission to go attack people. He looks like he's trying to smile. What a creepy dude. I can't believe a Muslim was killing other Muslim. Why is he killing other Muslims? Is he like, I can be the only one. I don't want other people to be Muslim. I want to be like the token Muslim guy. I want to have more. I don't know. Well, at least he was Muslim. At least it was Muslim on Muslim violence. It's scarier if it's from outside the thing. Um, is there a news site I trust? I just try to look at it all. Like, I don't trust Fox News, but other than that, I think most news sites are pretty accurate. Just like the bias you have to look out for and like how they try to frame things. But that's the facts, like, oh, Muslim guy killed Muslims. Maybe the fact that we're paying attention to it is weird. Man dead from blunt force trauma outside North Austin store. Oh, wow. That's in Austin. Austin report airport. Oh, this is local news. Rescreened after terminal evacuation. Private property creeps into Austin's public roadways. What does that mean? I don't want public property to be encroached upon. Oh, so slow. Anyways, RIP the victims. Yes. They tougher on the different sects of Islam than other religions at times. Um, I mean, I don't know if he was targeting them because they were Sunni and he was Shiite, or maybe he was just targeting them in general. Austinites have increasingly claimed ownership of the public parking spots in front of their properties. My neighbor is doing this. My neighbor gets pissed off at me when I park in front of his house. This year marks the 25th anniversary of Austin's residential permit parking program. Mark-off nearly 70% of the specially designated blocks were approved in the decade leading up to the pandemic. No car permit essentially tax on the sales permit start at $20 to limit parking in front of their homes. That's the thing about having a car-based infrastructure. You start being really possessive of your parking spots, but that's a large amount of surface area that you need. That could be going for something more useful if you didn't have to have an exoskeleton called a car to get anywhere. Imagine if you had to fucking hop into a robot suit anytime you wanted to go get a pack of smokes or a Slim Jim. It's like this is not an efficient way to do things. It takes way too much money and resources and destroys the environment way too much for you to just go out your door. That's the thing is like I live in the suburbs and people are like, "Oh, freedom." But like 99% of the suburb that I live in, I can't go to because it's someone else's property. And like 99% of the surface area in the suburbs is a place where you could get shot. So I am constantly walking around other people's property who are itching to defend it because that's the only way they interact with society is by attacking each other because they're all in their little castle, just hold off from each other. There's no community, there's no place where we meet, there's no place where people can do things here. It's just all houses. There's not a store, there's not like a little lounging area. It's just all houses, 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 houses where people have decided that they will kill you if you show up there. So it doesn't make me feel that good to be here, where people are so close to their killing zone, where they feel justified in killing anyone. Um, so it's just uh, not a great environment where people are just like um, so close to killing you if you just stray a little bit. So this is something that is interesting. So these people can block off the area in front of their homes, even though all Austinites pay city taxes to maintain public roadways. So it's just interesting to cordon off public roads and say that you need to only certain people can park here, which is fine, you know. I don't really want to park in front of most people's homes anyways. You have your shitty real estate to yourself. I don't want to park over in, you know, some stupid neighborhood. Bud's Creek. But it just makes it harder and more difficult for people to get along and hang out. It'd be better if we all could get along. Extreme struggle to find drivers. Police investigating homicide. Some person died. Woman arrested on DWI after crash sends man to hospital. But yeah, I mean, car-based infrastructure is very dangerous and toxic. Um, I think that it's dangerous to have everyone going 60 miles per hour. It's better to build everything close so you don't have to get in a car to go everywhere. Um, I think ideally you would be able to go down and walk around because you have to get out of your car eventually. When I grew up, our neighborhood used to just fight each other in the front yards of their double wide trailers over it. Like, here, man, it's true on people being so possessive, no community. It's like these guys just got sentenced for killing Ahmaud Arbery. Don't you have a gun now, too? Haha, I bet Rogan doesn't worry about that stuff. Haha. It would be dumb not to keep strangers off your property or protect it. Yeah, I know. It's great to have your own little place, but a whole neighborhood shouldn't just be houses. It should have a store and a laundromat and shit that people want to go to instead of just like house, 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 house. This is where we live. This is where we have fun. This is where we have sex. It's like every little area is so different. It's like, why don't we just combine it together and, create communities that you can do everything in instead of just rows and rows of houses. It's just so sterile and it doesn't create a community. That area is dead. This area is like nobody is hanging out or having fun or doing anything. I mean, it's the American thing. They wanted to make it expensive to buy a house so that black people wouldn't live near them. They wanted to create the haves and the have-nots. They wanted to create plantation things because that's what our country was built upon, exploiting slaves and whatever. So you got to have a place for the rich and the place for the poor. And now the only way you can hang out, you can't just hang out with just the general population of America. You have to hang out with people that you have met and you only have close relationships. And there's no like sort of the medium relationships. Can we talk about how great a job Austin's homeless population was at this before Big Brother stepped in? Yeah, I heard that they put them all up in hotels and just got them off the street. But, until you address the root of the problem, which is wealth inequality and employers not paying employees enough, it's going to happen. As long as you're like, we need to help employers keep as much of their money as possible, you're going to have homeless people because the employers are taking too much of the money. What's your favorite Korean food? Probably bulgogi. Play City Skylines. I wish I could play City Skylines. Sounds like you should move to a city. I thought that's what Austin was. But yeah, I like Austin. I don't like the infrastructure here or the way that it's built, but I do like Austin. Um, I mean, in America, you can't really get away from suburban sprawl and all that bullshit. Uh, so in terms of a city that is suburban sprawled, it's not bad. It's one of the best suburban sprawled cities out there. Um, so yeah, I like the city. I like being here, even though it's suburban sprawl and they built highways everywhere and it takes forever to get anywhere. I still like it here. You know, it's one of the best cities that is like that. Um, have you been kayaking? Yeah, I've been kayaking. It's pretty great. What's your favorite conspiracy theory? Austin is Little Cali to the rest of Texas. Yes, it is. It's the most liberal place, but it's still not California. It's still very Texas. Like the roads here are very sprawled and stuff. Um, uh, but yeah, it's a good place. I like it. You can always tell who's from Austin if you're from anywhere else in Texas. Yeah, Texas is a really cool place. I'm just getting used to it. Houston versus Dallas is a big one. Houston and Dallas are the biggest cities with the most cultural sway. Then San Antonio, and then Austin, and then like the fucking Gulf Coast people, and then you got El Paso. and then all the little towns in between. But yeah, I like it. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm not really paying attention, but hopefully that's a good spot. I need sheep and brick. Brick is gonna be hard to come by. Rock would be nice too. But yeah. Is weed legal in Texas? No way. They're too stubborn. They don't want to admit they were wrong. They don't want to be like, yeah, sorry, we accidentally made weed illegal for no reason. They're like, fuck you, we're gonna keep it illegal because we don't care about anything. I hope you enjoyed listening to me drink. It was a bit more of a gulp than I wanted it to be. I'm thinking of going here and then leading up to there. Just because I have the wood port. Why not? Hopefully no one goes anywhere over here. Which they probably will. This guy needs sheep and rock. So he might go there. And then this guy needs sheep and brick. So he might go here. Oh, interesting. This guy needs sheep and rock. So I'm guessing he's going here. Maybe here. Maybe here. Just don't go here because I want to go right here. But yeah, I mean, oh, nice. Interesting. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably gonna go for here first. Just so I don't get cut off. But where should I stay away from if moving to Austin? The only thing about Austin is that you could live pretty far away. I would say don't live in the suburbs. Just try to get close. Even though rent in Austin is so expensive. I'll move here so you guys can see the game. God, no wood has been rolled. But yeah, I would say the neighborhoods in Austin are as follows. There is the North Austin Domain area, which is like bougie and rich and upper class and shit. And there's the South Austin, which is poor and students and artists and stuff. And then there's West Austin, which is the hills where all the rich people live. And then East Austin is where all the poor minorities live. But yeah, I would say if you're looking for a place, Riverside is good because it's so cheap there. Riverside is like south of the river, a little bit south. It's east or it's east by south. It's east by southeast. So it's more east than it is anything else. I'm gonna go here. Hopefully this guy doesn't have two roads because he could cut me off. Now I just need a brick. Shit, he better not have two. Oh, thank God. So yeah, I mean, Austin's a great place. I love the energy. I love the attitude. You know, there's a lot of issues that I have with society, but you know, it's not as bad as it could be. Even through it all, I think Americans are very unique and special, and we really shine in many ways, which is nice. The computer seems a little slower for whatever reason. I think I'm gonna have to build right here just in case, because it's really important that I have that. Even though I could have built a settlement. How have your skills changed or since becoming a regular? My Kill Tony sets have been changing, you know. It's just an interesting thing. It's just like a living, breathing organism where I'm trying to do really good on Kill Tony and I don't want to do bad. What's the structure of a good joke? Something that you care about, something that means a lot to you, something that you can be emotionally invested in. Um, yeah, I mean, I love a good joke. I love when jokes say something. Please don't steal from me. Oh, thank God. I think I'm gonna build here first. Just because I don't want anyone to steal this spot. This spot is more secure. It's gonna take a long time for him to go all the way around, or this guy to come all the way here. Should I? God damn it. So, I don't know. Kill Tony is such an exciting thing. Every week it comes around. It's like a party. It's like where all the comedians meet up and hang out and get to know each other. So, um, I mean, I'm always excited for it, and because it's such a big thing, like I don't want to bomb on it. So I want to do a good job, and then there's the pressure of that and all the stress and headache that comes with stuff like that. Um, yeah, so it's just interesting. It's a fun time. It's stressful in a good way because it makes me be like, I can't be lazy. I gotta be on top of my game and do things correctly. So that's good. I forgot I have the 3-to-1 port. I haven't made any mistakes today, or this game. The thing about Catan is like I'm always searching for that perfect game where I make all the right moves. You know, the dies do whatever they do, but as long as I do the right moves, uh, it's it's uh, it's all you can do. Is do the right thing when it's your turn. God damn it. Sheepy. I'm not a millionaire. DefEQ, deferential calculus. You mean differential calculus? Deferential calculus with the E is like where you're super respectful. Calculus where you're super respectful. DifEQ, differential calculus is something that I took in high school. It just got so theoretical that I don't really know. I don't really know how much I know about it now. Have you ever met Bobby Lee? No, I literally went to the same community college as Bobby Lee. Yeah, like the song Call Me Maybe. I used to love the song Call Me Maybe. It's a great song about calling you maybe. Um, my life is pretty amazing. You know, it hasn't always been the case, so I feel like I get to say it now. Um, I've been having a good life. I've been just trying to keep it up, trying not to get in trouble or lose the position. Just trying to maintain. You know, it's been a long time, 9 years in the game, so it's like I sort of deserve it. But what does deserve really mean? I mean, I think like I'm having a good time, and that's the most important thing. But and um yeah, I mean, I don't want to get arrogant or lose the spot that I have in any way, or, you know, fuck it up or anything. So that's my primary goal. And then after I don't fuck it up, I want to do good and, you know, have like a career that is awesome and like jokes that are awesome and like amazing, and like having really great jokes is a priority of mine. So yeah, it's just all sorts of things I need to do. I need sheep. Got sheep. Where's blue? Shit. Who has sheep? I think I should trade this in. There should be a Kill Tony regular tour. Yeah, we tried to do that. Unfortunately, William has to go do a gig with Duncan Trussell that day. So I don't think it's gonna happen, but I might be there next week in Houston doing a little regular tour. Always puts it there, black. Nice. It all worked out. So yeah, the regular tour should be going on soon. Are you capable of anger? Of course. I get really angry sometimes. It's not good. I don't want to help this guy. I'll just deal with my shit. He has one development card, so he can still fuck things up. But he hasn't yet. Here we go. Getting this port. Let me buy a development card so I can get rid of this knight with this robber. Robert. This is Catan, is the board game. You roll dice and the numbers are the resources, and if your number gets rolled, you get to fucking do something. I want to get this spot right here. That's what I'm aiming for. Unfortunately, this guy is very tied to me. Anything that I get, he gets too. So yeah, I mean, I think that Donald Trump being raided is predictable and probably for the best. You can't let a guy like that do whatever he wants. He needs to be kept in check. And I think it's a good thing that he's being kept in check. You don't want him going crazy out there. Pretty close game. Everyone's the same number of points. Hopefully he doesn't steal from me. God damn it. My one rock. What the fuck? What are the chances? 20%. Fuck, he took my rock. This fucker. I don't have any rock. I could go here. But it's a bit of a trek. So, what the deal with Trump is that he is like a megalomaniac crazy guy, and then everyone wants to act like that's normal. It is atypical, to be sure. What should we talk about? Google News. Trump, the FBI raids Trump's digs. GOP response. Ka-ching. People are like, how dare you? How dare you investigate? You should never investigate. I feel like um I feel like it's deserved, but I've already said that a million times now. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about Trump? What a crazy guy, huh? What a crazy knucklehead. Please come back to Chicago. I'd love to go back to Chicago. Chicago's a great city. It's my kind of town, Chicago is. My kind of town. It's a great town. I love that they created a city. I feel like their public transit could not just be suburban focused, but also focused on other neighborhoods, like connecting suburbs with each other. Instead of just everything going downtown. Trump pleaded the fifth, which is obviously means he's not guilty. Yeah, he doesn't want to incriminate himself. I wish I didn't trade with him. But a man's got to do what a man's got to do. He doesn't even have any ports. I need sheep. Yeah, I mean, I hate when people will be like, well, you don't do that to a Democrat. You don't invade a Democrat's fucking thing. Yeah, because no Democrat has done the things that Trump has done. Trump is way worse. It's like, who are we kidding here? I need a sheepy. I don't think he has much. Oh, he just got wheat. He got 2 wheat. I could have waited. I didn't have to give that guy brick. What I need is 2 wood. And I can build where I want to build. God damn it. That's a lot of cards. And he has a brick port. Oh, fuck. God damn it. I got fucked. I didn't realize he had the brick port. Oh, I should have known. Anyways. There should be rules barring 62-year-old presidents. Yeah, Biden is like 79. But yeah, it's too bad that people are so old. I'm in last place. Luck. What choice do I have but to trade with the devil? Geriatric Olympics 2024. Well, there's a reason why everyone in government is so old. It's because those are the only people that can run our government or who are allowed to run our government. The government is made for old people by old people. It's like FUBU, but for geriatric people. It's the only people who can control it because the whole system is meant to preserve wealth as it is right now. And it's a old thing. It's like look at the people that run it, and that's the type of vibe it is. Like it's an old, decrepit system that is corrupt and slow, and it's not a good system. It's only meant for simplistic things and dumb things. Yeah, it's an old system that we're trying to keep in place well past its prime. It's like a fucking Biden is like what the place is. It's like an old thing. And we're just keeping it alive. It's an old stupid thing. I don't need to be trading with people right now. Yeah, it's an old system meant for old people, and we should have a new system. It's like a fucking jalopy. It's an old fucking car that we have when we could be riding around in a Rolls Royce. We have this old Biden car, and we don't have a new fresh car. We need a new system of government. We don't just have to be preserving this old government that we had from the 1700s and just worship it. The best way to recover the economy is to worship the old system and hope that Benjamin Franklin blesses us. We shouldn't try to improve upon the system that we have. Instead, we should just worship harder and praise our forefathers more. It's the right thing to do. We shouldn't try to think for ourselves. But yeah, so it's like maybe for a new world, we need a new way of doing things. Huh? Does that sound like a good idea? Maybe we should try improving things somewhat, slightly. But yeah, it's just an interesting old system that we have because we like old things. The older, the better. Keep it old and keep it cold. That's the good thing about our political system. Well, I think ideally we would improve upon it, but we don't want to improve upon it. We want to keep it the same because the people who are in charge want to keep the wealth distribution as it is. I said that so many times. And they use the cover of, oh, we gotta worship the old things as a way to be like not changing anything. So instead of not improving upon it, why don't we improve upon it? I think like I think yeah, that's what I think. I think we should improve upon it. I'm so distracted. They try to raise the whatever. Cowabunga. What should I build with all this might? I could get the longest road, get 8 points. I'd rather just do this. And then build a settlement. And then eventually get longest road. But yeah, I mean, we have an old system, and the reason why it's old is so that it can remain the same. But improvements are awesome, and we should definitely improve things. Improvement is necessary. All I need is one more point, and then I win. And then, actually, I need 3 more points, but I can get one more point with the road. So all I need is a road, and then one more point. Oh, he says GG. Oh, I should have gotten the longest road, because that just set him up to get it. I didn't realize he had so many fucking road building materials. Damn, I should have just gotten the longest road so that he would have had to build one more road to get it. And then I would have had 9 or 8 points. Oh well, it was a close game. Hans, as an expert, do you think we are heading towards World War III. I think that we are headed towards the end of the way that we're doing things now. However that is going to be, I don't know, but this is definitely not sustainable. Second Cold War, I like first. Well, yeah, I think that we are headed towards the end of what what is happening now. I think we need a new way of thinking about things and a new priority. Just a profit motive isn't the best. You know, you need more than just the profit motive. You need lots of different ways of motivating yourself and not being selfish and looking out for the good of people, I think is important. Um, and I think we need a new priority. We can't just be like, my goal in life is to make money and to succeed and win, because that produces horrible societies and horrible outcomes and genocides and famines and mass murders and stuff. So I think that we need to find a new way of being a human. Humans are so adaptable, and we're stuck in this one little narrow virus-like way of thinking, like where we're like, more, more, more. I need money. Give me stuff. I need to take and consume as much as I can, and the more you get, the less I have. So I want you to do less, and I want me to have more. Like this is like such a primitive and simple and limiting way of being a human, and yet that is the primary way that people are humans nowadays. So I think we need to have less of that and more of a higher, uh, a more evolved purpose, as opposed to just accumulating material wealth. Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, which was ill-advised. I wish that she hadn't done that. I think that there's no reason to go over there and stir things up. I think it's bad for Taiwan. I don't think it's good for everyone. Yeah. So, what else? What else? I could play another game. I could look up um why does that fill it in? I don't want that filled in like that. It's like, oh, you meant this. Let's see. This is a cool background. Open image in new tab. God, it's so tiny. Open image in new tab. Why are these all so fucking tiny? There we go. Dun 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 dun. But yeah, speaking of Asia, thanks for giving us Asians a voice, and I'm glad you're not a typical boba liberal limphal. I don't know what a boba liberal is, but I'm guessing that's just like a guy that works in finance and then goes and drinks bubble tea with his girl that is only attracted for him for his money, um, and lives a sad little pathetic life, and um, just has a lot of material wealth and no purpose or soul or vitality or a grander purpose or a sense of vision of who he wants to be in the world, even though he's successful. I think it's time that we all participate in culture, and if everyone is participating, then everyone's voice is heard, and we can create a nice potpourri, a little mix of everyone's voices together. And then the best voices will rise to the top, and we can all create a better world together. But if uh everyone is just like fucking brain dead and working all the time in some useless job and filling out paperwork that no one cares about, and everyone's potential is wasted, then you don't have a healthy ecosystem of thoughts and ideas, And healthier the ecosystem, the healthier the humans and the individuals in it are going to be. And if everyone was freed from having to worry about their survival like animals, then you would have a much richer artist community. You'd have a lot more inventions, a lot more cool things. GOP, we hate China. One Dem shows support for Taiwan. What the fuck are you doing? Well, GOP is just reactionary. They just react to whatever is happening. They're like, oh, you did that? We're against that. We hate that. They just want to, they're the brakes of progress. They're like, we're evolving too fast. We need to be more slow and like the olden times. But I just don't trust conservatives and the conservative ideology. How could you trust conservatives? They've been wrong about everything. I don't understand this, why we're going back to conservatism, some of us. It's like, why would they be correct about anything? Their mentality is completely broken. They're just only focused on animalistic things. Like, that looks wrong. I hate gay things because that looks wrong. And they're completely compromised by corporations. They've been wrong about slavery, conservatives have. They've been wrong about segregation, gay marriage, marijuana, divorce, women's rights. They've been wrong about all these things. Like, why would we trust them? The answer is probably progress and continuing upon the path that the conservatives have been stopping us from getting on. Um, Conservatives are not more logical. Conservatives believe in the Bible and they don't believe in stem cell research, and they believe that gay marriage is wrong because it feels wrong. Conservatives are pretty pretty horrible. They're just not right. It's just they're just like a weird mix of feelings and false ideas. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's this is a country founded on slavery, and a lot of people don't want to admit that, so that a lot of the shit that is in our culture, they're like, no, that's not slavery based. That's just normal. That's just the awesome parts of America. And I think that we don't want to admit a lot of our shit is bad, and we're like, no, I'm an individual. I'm not affected by history. And then you let history affect you more because you think it doesn't affect you. Um, Conservatives believe in males and females, but that's not really that important. What's important is getting poor people money, and they don't believe in helping poor people by giving them a fair wage or paying them fairly or helping people that are out of the system with money, just a cash infusion. They only believe in cash infusions for corporations that fail and executives need a golden parachute, but not poor people who need a home and food so that they can get their shit together. Um, yeah, I mean, it's great that transgender things are such a big deal now, but I think economically is a real issue. And liberals don't want to talk about economics because they don't want to give up any of their money either. So they're happy to be distracted by transgender issues and fight on that front instead of being like, maybe we should give poor people more money. They don't want to have that conversation because they don't want to give up any of their money. Um, who are the good guys in history? Probably Martin Luther King Jr., probably Gandhi. The libs, a lot of them are just benefiting off of colonialism and our system of exploitation of third world countries, and they don't really want to see any of that changed. I lived in a van. I'm willing to do that. So if I'm willing to live in a van, then I don't mind giving more money to poor people. I think that it would be great for everyone. I would rather have gas stations where I'm not afraid of getting knifed and having poverty where people are incentivized to steal from me. Like, that's why I am so afraid of the poor, is because if I was poor, and wealth was within that close of a grasp of me, I would, do what I had to do to survive. Um, and I would not mind hurting other people to get what I needed just to survive. So if I can see that that's the choice that I would make as a poor person. I don't see why they don't do that. I think that it is a testament to human nature and the good in people that most homeless people don't resort to crime and violence. But if that's the only option that I'm left with, then a society that has abandoned me like that does not deserve my discipline. So I don't know why more homeless people wouldn't attack me. So ideally, uh, I would like to live in a world where people like that don't exist, so that I don't have to be physically worried about my safety because I would do that in their situation. I would probably resort to violence if I had to, if I was poor. Um, and a lot of poor people do, and a lot of people, a lot more poor people don't, which is amazing. And yeah, I mean, if I can understand why they would want to hurt me and take from me, then I am going to be afraid and I'm going to live in fear and stress. And I'd rather not have that. I'd rather have poor people be given taxpayers' money, hopefully from a corporation or a rich person, and get them to a position where they don't need to rob and steal from other people to survive. And unless that happens, I'm going to be wary of that situation. So I would rather, uh, you know, get rid of that. Um, I'd rather get rid of that uh, stress by giving poor people money and helping them out. There's been a lot of people in society who don't strive to do better and just continue getting free money. Well, I don't think that's a big problem right now. I think a bigger problem is corporate handouts and like bailing out big banks or whatever. I don't think that a big problem right now is that there's a lot of people sitting in trailer parks collecting checks. I think that the problem is that there isn't enough checks going to trailer parks. And I think if there was, there would be less domestic abuse, there'd be less child abuse, there'd be fewer sex crimes. Everything would get better. But as long as money is trapped up top, everything will get worse. And that's what this is all about, is like creating a wealth inequality and preserving it by the rich. What do the rich love the most? What is this whole country and this whole economy run on? Money. Money is the key. If we can liberate the money from the places where it's trapped and stagnating, then the society will become better. And I'm not saying that because I want more money. I'm saying that because I don't want to live with poor people. I want to live with people that are striving or uh, thriving. I want to live with people that are amazing, doing cool things with their life, not just trying to get a fucking cheeseburger from Arby's. I don't think Arby's has cheeseburgers. Do you believe Yang should have been president? I mean, nobody voted for him. I am not that familiar with all of his works, but I did go to a rally that he did, and I was moved and I was inspired that he was entering politics because, it takes courage to be like, my voice deserves to be heard. And I think everyone should do that. Everyone should say what they have to say and see how big of a platform they get. And he got a big platform. He made a big splash, and I respect that. Right here, bro. I'll send you my Cash App. Well, I'd have to verify that you're poor and that you actually deserve it. But yeah, I would love to get rid of poor people. Also, a lot of people in society, just because something is understandable does not mean it is justifiable. Yeah, I mean, I would probably not hurt people just because that hurts people. But if you put people in a position where that's one of their only options, then that's a horrible situation because then you're just relying on the goodness of people. That's the thing, is like people are naturally evil, so we have to starve them and make sure that they're not too rich because then they'll use those riches for evil. But then you starve people and then you treat them like shit and they still don't attack you and they don't hurt you. So these people that are like humans are naturally evil are relying on the natural goodness of humans to keep being evil to them. It's like if humans were naturally evil, you wouldn't exist because of all the evil shit that you did to them and how they're just turning the other cheek. Like if it was just like people were just animals, then it would be like they would attack you rightfully because you're treating them horribly. But fortunately, people are good And into horrible situations, they choose the right option and they choose peace and love, while you, with all your money and luxury, choose to be mean and spiteful to poor people, um, as a exercise, as an abnormal thing, because it takes an extra layer of thinking to be like, oh, I'm gonna be mean now, even though I should obviously be a good person. So I think it's a very unnatural act to be like, fuck poor people. They just need tough love. It it's inhuman to do that, to watch someone suffer and then not help them. Tax low-wage hourly workers to fund UBI for people who don't work at all is what we'll get. Why don't we tax the people that are sitting on their asses on yachts all day, who are just accruing the value of millennials and Gen Zers Uber Eatsing for them? Um, there's plenty of rich people, and just because this is how the money fell after slavery and segregation does not mean that this is the right way for the wealth to be distributed in a society that makes it better or fair for everyone involved. How many janitors and, seamstresses and factory workers who are poor and immigrants do we know that work way harder uh, than fucking CEOs, and they don't get paid as much? It's not a fair system. You don't get paid based on the value that you create or the work that you put in. You get paid based on how much you can take. And the more that you took earlier on, the more of an advantage you have, and then you can compound that interest. You can compound that advantage and become more and more successful at the expense of everyone else, because they're just starting the game late because they were genocided or they were sick or they were a woman or they came to the country late. I mean, it's not a good system the way we have it now. It's not a meritocracy, and we're just getting away with it because we have so much wealth and because we colonized and destroyed so many other countries that they don't have the opportunity to succeed that we do. We stored all the loot from the world here, and this is the only place that you can build on top of that loot, because the people in Guatemala don't have all that banana money that we stole from them. Money is the root of all lack of money. Is the root of all evil. There will always be violent homeless when we don't treat mental illness like it's a real, but instead something we ignore. On some level, isn't money an indicator of the choices you make in life? I think money right now is an indicator of our history, and where it falls is probably an indicator of the people who have had an advantage in our society for a longer period of time rather than skill or merit. I think it's just, I think America improved upon feudalism with capitalism. Instead of worshiping a king, now we worship capitalists and people who own capital and factories. Um, and it was an improvement upon feudalism for sure, but we need to keep on improving upon it, especially with the amount of resources and of technology that we have. Capitalists can now have an even deeper advantage than just um, in the past, where you still had to have all these looms and have all these people fixing the looms. And right now, you just need one robot to replace 500 workers. And so if you give all the money to people who own that robot, then everyone else is going to starve to death. So you're going to have to do something eventually. On some level, um, yeah, so if you own the factory in 1920 and you just keep making money off that factory and keep buying and improving your factory because no one else has the money to improve theirs, and then you accrue your benefits, then that's just a testament to the fact that you had an advantage for a long time. It's not necessarily a test of competence, although it does take a level of competence to do that. But that doesn't mean that someone else couldn't do it better. It's just that they don't have the opportunity to try. They did Bernie really dirty. Yeah, they fucked him up. The Democratic Party, they didn't want Bernie to win, so they fucked it up. Even though he was the natural choice of our society, we instinctively reached out to Bernie and voted for him in whatever way the fucking primaries work. And they were like, nope, even our limited version of democracy that we have in the Democratic primaries was thwarted. They were like, no, you can't do that, even though we totally rigged the fucking primaries anyways. It's not rigged enough for us. We got to rig it one extra step. And Bernie got shafted. He's 80 fucking 20, 80, 89 years old now. And we already missed the boat on Bernie. We don't deserve Bernie. We are too corrupt of a society to have Bernie. And instead, Hillary became the nominee, and then she lost. So, we felt it in our bones. We're like, this isn't what we wanted. This isn't the best Democratic. We like even changed our thinking to be Democrat versus Republican. And we're like, well, if that's the case, then Bernie would be the right answer to, you know, answer the the thing with Trump, because we're like, the things that we did in the past is not working. We don't need more of Hillary Clinton. We need something different. And we instinctively reached out to Bernie. The Republican idiots reached out to Trump. That's their solution for our problems. Is this ridiculous man? They're gone. They're too fucked up. They're way off the beaten path. They're lost. But we had Bernie, and then we didn't put him up to run against him. So we're like, this doesn't make any sense. I guess if these are the options, might as well switch things up a bit, shake things up. I mean, capitalism is where people who own capital are given more power. And I just don't think that they need more power. I think that they have enough power. Why do we have to change our whole system for them? We should empower more low wage and working class people. And I think that if everyone is better, then we can be the sum of our parts instead of worshiping a lord or a baron or a king. We can all be awesome, and that'll make the world awesome. Look how awesome people are now, even with capitalism, where it's not a guarantee that you'll be rewarded. Okay, I think I came back. Um, Free enterprise is clearly the best method to create the largest surpluses of goods along with a society that has a sufficient degree of freedom. Free enterprise means that business people doing whatever the fuck they want. If business people did whatever the fuck they wanted, we wouldn't have weekends. Children would be working in factories. You would be able to sell your children for money. We have what we have now because we have fire departments and the SEC and the EPA and the FAA and highways. So we never really had free enterprise. It's always been checked by common sense and decency. The biggest scam is being taxed on money that we make, then taxing us when we spend it and taxing us on property that we own, that we already pay taxes on with our already taxed money. But we use roads all the time, we use water all the time, and those things cost money, and that should be coming out of something. I think if you're not happy with the level that we're being taxed, then we can change it democratically, but we should pay for things. I don't mind paying for things, We live in an awesome society. Jordan Peterson apparently makes good points about how liberalism and conservatism is necessary so we don't destroy ourselves. I think that's just the way that it is now. I don't think that's necessarily the best way. I think it's just how it happens to be. Um, this thing is red. Now it's yellow, green. Hooray, I think I'm back. I think conservatism and liberalism is just how it is now. I don't think it's necessarily how it's supposed to be. I think more healthy discussion would be better. I think having people not on the left or the right would be better. I think just being like how normal humans are, that should be how our economy and our politics is. Just raise minimum wage, keep the capitalism. you're never going to be able to raise the minimum wage if you have capitalism, because capitalism is where rich people decide everything. If rich people decide everything, why would they decide to just fuck themselves? They're going to vote in their best interest, and they're going to pay politicians to get what they want. If you just raise minimum wage, that's not good enough. We need true power. The people should have the power. The people should be able to decide what the people do, not a small group of people telling us what we should do. And it might not be perfect because people are dumb, but at least we don't have anyone to blame but ourselves. We're looking at people that don't have any power and be like, look, what would happen if we gave them power? But if you gave them power, then we'd start studying, then we'd start learning, and we'd make better decisions. But right now, we don't have that power, so we're not developing. We're stagnant. We're intellectually bereft because we are not asked to use our intellect, all that the purpose of our society is. And the only purpose that people are given is to not fuck shit up too much and to keep it the way it is. Their incentive isn't to create awesome people, it's to create people that aren't going to change things. So that's why people are so dumb and broken. If you gave people like that power, then it's not good. But if you create people that are a part of the system that they live in, then they're going to be better people. We need the power to be in the hands of the people. We need to decide what happens to us. No one should decide for us what happens to us. If we want something, we should get it. We shouldn't just have a couple of billionaires deciding what the fuck that we get to do. If it's us that is going to be impacted, then we should decide what we want to do. The people in a vote, not just a billionaire deciding what we need now is tunnels under LA and then never doing it. So what is your prognosis? Should we lean more towards Trump or Bernie Sanders? That is the options that we have. And if you're more towards Trump, then it's not going to work out because he's crazy and he's just emotionally a good time. When is the emotion ever the right answer? When it's like, choose the answer that feels the best. It feels the best to fucking trash your room and, break your windows and fucking yell really loud, but that doesn't mean that's the best way to keep your house going. As imperfect as capitalism is, it does allow for class mobility, something other systems didn't support. Well, if you look at America, we are 27th in social mobility, and we have the lowest social safety net. A system that rewards capital owners and makes life easier for them and gives them more money isn't going to be a great system for social mobility. I'm sure capitalism is better at social mobility than feudalism because you can't just be a king, you have to be born a king. But it is not better than some of the other systems of government that we could try out, which other countries have tried to try out, but then they get visited by the CIA and their experiment comes to a swift end. Just ask Allende or Lumumba. We need to progress past capitalism. We need a system that doesn't just support rich people and makes life easier for rich people. There's much more to Trump than most people think, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised when the truth comes to light. To cite us. I mean, it'd be nice if there was more to Trump than what most people thought, but I don't think there is. I think he's just an idiot, and he's just running around yelling, and everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's so cool and fun. Yeah, it feels good." But I don't think there's anything there. If there was, it would have come out by now. All he wants to do is just do things that feel good. And that's no way to run a country. You need to think about things and figure things out. Can I buy your van to live in? Purchase? I would love it if someone purchased my van. I'm probably gonna ask a lot for it. Maybe I shouldn't. If you want to buy it, let me know. Well, we don't have that power because of all the distractions and surroundings. Do you own a house now? Whoa, whoa, shots fired at Elon. Oh, yeah. You and William need to do a podcast on politics and religion. I mean, I think that would be great because I love talking about boring stuff, and then William is like fun and entertaining. So it'd be a nice yin and yang. Like there could be a serious Jesus issue that affects us all drastically, but insert TikTok dances. Elon, Republic of Austin, Trump. Bernie is shifty though. How's Bernie shifty? He's like the most trustworthy guy ever. He's boring, he's old, he doesn't do shit. Full send only, consider Bernie on the left to interview. Ola. We should all vote for Bernie so he can die happy, hopefully not in office. Yeah, what if it's like a Ruth Bader Ginsburg scenario? Big issue is nobody knows what they're talking about. How many people actually know the details to know if Hillary or Trump actually broke the law, but talk like they know? Um, I mean, I think that's on purpose. I think we're kept ignorant on purpose so that no one can change anything. Chilean coup. House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. No, Trump 2024. The swamp is deep, US. I need a van. Bernie's been around all this time and only runs in 2016. Old as fuck. Dude, we could have used you earlier. Well, it's like the thing is like we weren't ready for that. We weren't ready for Bernie. Um, and we still aren't. We don't deserve Bernie. Bernie is better than us. He is better than the average person in our society, but that's on purpose. We've been kept dumb and docile so that we don't change things and switch things up. What's Mark Norman's life like off stage? Mark Norman off stage is a lot like Mark Norman on stage. He's always cracking jokes. He's so nice. He looks at you in the eye and he talks to you like a human being. And I heard that he's really good at uh, getting with a lot of very attractive females. If you want to buy my van, let me know. But thank you for tuning in. I love you guys and have